Since the late 1980s, Uganda has rebounded from civil war and economic catastrophe to become a relatively stable and peaceful country. The love of football often unites local communities, and with many African players plying their trade in England, the interest in the Premier League is clear to see. Perfect then for Premier Skills, the Premier League's international coaching programme to be held in the capital, Kampala. Supported by the Federation of Uganda Football Associations, the aim is to help the development of coaches in the country, which in turn will improve the standard of local talent.
The problem that the young children of Uganda have been facing, which I hope the Premier Skills is going to solve, is mostly that they have not been privileged to be access the opportunities to the people who can give them and tap their talents. Now with the Premier Skills coming in, with this system of coaching the coaches, that we in turn go and reach where these kids are and tap and make them valuable, I think it will be solving a great problem that the Ugandan kids have been lacking.
Launched in 2007, Premier Skills was headed up by former players Robbie Earle and Warren Barton. Through a long-term partnership with the Premier League and the British Council, the project has already been successful in Egypt and India.
And it's something that we felt very strongly about, and we just felt it was right as ex-players that have played in the Premier League for over a decade each, and to, with the Premier League, to go into countries that we can help their development coaching.
This time around, Barton led the coaching team, and alongside Liam Redican from Everton, West Ham's Jerome John and Reading's Paul Hughes, he set out intensive sessions to improve different aspects of the participants' knowledge. Giving the students the confidence to implement their own coaching sessions seemed to be working.
I came expecting to get more skills and to be trained, right? And that is exactly what I've got. And today morning, I've just practiced that, and my coach has said I've just been perfect in everything I was doing. The demonstrations, the communication skills, the positioning where a coach has to stand and coach. And I'm now confident, more confident than I once was.
The scheme is open to people over 18 who already have some involvement in sport. Team building, leadership, player development and prevention of injuries were just some of the areas the course covered. And Barton was clearly impressed.
They've been magnificent, their attitude, their behaviour, their knowledge as well, and as we would expect, their enthusiasm.
Using the English language as a communication tool, afternoon workshops concentrated on community development. Topics such as social inclusion, role models in football, antisocial behaviour and the improvement of education and health standards were all discussed.
I'm going to pass on what I'm gaining here. I'll pass it on to the kids, and it will help them further develop and exploit their skill and talent further.
I've had a few conversations with a couple of people that told me some stuff about West Ham that I'm not even sure I knew. So, they're very informative about the Premier League and about football in general.
There are several phases to this project. Uganda will act as a hub for other African nations, including Sudan, Botswana and Malawi. In all, 10 African countries will benefit from Premier Skills. Richard Wayers from the British Council is pleased with this long-term partnership.
Around a year from now, we'll be bringing the best coaches from each of those countries to a further kind of super coaching session, again involving Premier League coaches. And I think that's going to add added impetus to the momentum of the project.
For Warren Barton and his enthusiastic team of coaches, the immediate gains were just as rewarding.
If each coach picks up one or two skills from what they're trying to do, then it's been worth our while. And when you come here and you see the kids smiling and you give them a football and that makes their life, then there's a lot of satisfaction. And I think people don't tend to see that side of Premier League footballers, but there's a lot of good work that people do, but sometimes don't take the plaudits.
Premier Skills is the flagship for the Premier League's International Good Causes initiative to be launched next month. And it's proving to be a worldwide winning formula.